I always believe Microsoft is 3 years ahead of everybody. I really do. And they're about 4 years behind in messaging. They're really good at coming up with an idea ahead of everybody else coming up with the same idea. And then they're really good at not talking about it very well. And I mean that with all the love in the world. It's the biggest thing I dislike about the company as a whole. I'm talking about from everything from gaming to entertainment to devices to software. It's not one person's fault. It's just like a culture, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what the issue is. I wish it would stop because I love the company. Freaking obviously. Right there. Nope. There. Right back there. There you go. I found things. So for my show, dude, let me play you. Like, we talk about what we were working on. Let me show you what we were working on. Like, we had a lot going on in the background that nobody knows about. Let me see if I actually have it. Yeah, that, Havors, there's a big reason for that, right? They want the data, right? I get it. But how would they buy it? Like, how would they acquire a company from the Chinese government? I don't even know how you do that, right? Who knows? Cart, imaging, Xbox ambassadors. Let's see. We had a lot of stuff. Hang on, let me see if I can pull this up. Right click, and let's just open up a new VLC because I don't want to get rid of that one. Go here, go here, go here. Like, we had this we made.
Get ready.
Hang on. Whoops. Stop. 100%, please. Thank you very much.
Get ready.
This is
Live in the Mix.
In the mix.
mixing it up.
With your host, F5 Penguin.
So the idea there, we were supposed to launch a segment called In the Mix, which was going to be literally bringing on Mixer partners onto our program to talk about them, and obviously only if they were Xbox ambassadors. That was the idea, is to get them to sign up to the program so they can talk about the program. But then adversely, we would promote more content through it and have interviews with these people. We built a whole bunch of sounders around it. I can't find them, but we had like...
We now return to Talking Games with F5 Penguin.
we had that one.
We now continue talking games with your host, F5 Penguin. Talking games with F5 Penguin.
We had all these bumpers in place because we were going to come weave in and out of things. I have some stuff that's not even done yet, that the intent there was to... Oh my goodness, we got a raid. That's the raid sound we need, actually. That's what we need to go with. But yes, welcome raiders. We appreciate you being here. Magic by Pixie bringing in her community into our home today, and I appreciate that. I'm going to mispronounce this. I don't want to. Mina P13, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the Waddle Gang. You have joined an elite circle of amazing, amazing people. And shout out to Magic the Gamer for hosting as well. Appreciate you. Listen, right now, if you're on my side and you haven't followed, if you have not followed, did I say Mina right? Fantastic. Magic by Pixie, please do so. Probably one of the most spirited people on Twitch that has migrated over from Mixer to bring a little bit of the magic from Mixer and a little bit of her own pixie dust. Mix it together. What do you got? You got Magic by Pixie right here on Twitch. Streaming right now at least 2 days per week. Just returned last week, and big things are in store for her. Please make sure you're giving a follow and supporting that person as well. I would appreciate it. But yes, welcome. We were just talking about some Mixer stuff, oddly enough, what we were working on with the Xbox ambassadors and what they're doing and what I'm trying to do. And yeah, we were just talking about kind of coming up with new ideas to bring things to light. Plex Romero with the host. Welcome. B Major, what up? So the idea was like bringing Mixer partners on, communicating through them, having a good conversation. That's what I do. Having real conversations and making it engaging. Then the second part of what we tried to do, and we got a little bit of progress with it, but then it just didn't take off. I don't know what happened. This is what I said. If Xbox wasn't 3 years ahead. So when did Xbox acquire the 865 companies that they bought for Xbox Game Studios? 2 years after I stopped doing the show, right? Like a year and a half to 2 years. the idea for part of our program was for the second hour was to ignore the next sound. Oh no, can't do that. I love sounds. Sounds are my favorite thing ever, obviously. Audio guy. No. They bought all these companies, and the question I see a lot in the Xbox Discord and around the internet, oh, you're fine, no worries. It only flagged once, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Either way, we hear like, oh, well, what is this game studio working on? Or what is this game studio working on? Or what is this game studio working on? And I don't think people realize that there's a lot that goes on in the background that we just don't see. I thought it would have been cool as hell if we brought in a developer every week on the program. We sat down for a half hour up front. We talked to them about what they're working on for the studio, what's coming up next in Xbox Game Pass, or but it was even before Xbox Game Pass was a thing. What's coming up next for Xbox Game Studios or Microsoft Studios, whatever they called it at the time. And first half of that interview is just talking to them about inspiration, where they came from, about them, the person. Then, just like a late night talk show where the host says, oh, well, guest, you have a movie clip to show us or a song to perform, they would play that clip. We would do something different. We would go play the video game with the developer, but thinking it like this, we would only do that inside the ID at Xbox and Xbox Studios umbrella. We would not do it to anybody else outside of that. And we got there with SMG Studios. We did a 3-week stint with Death Squared, and it was amazing. We actually had a really good time with them. They brought us on. They loved my wife. We played together. They promoted it. It was actually a really good activation that nobody higher up in Microsoft promoted. And we could have done amazing things with it. And I thought we could have really created something unique for Mixer. Didn't they steal that idea and use it for the Green Show? If you knew the amount of ideas that were on a whiteboard that was right here, right before I built the new studio, and that were on the whiteboard in the old home in Fort Myers, that I pitched to somebody, different people in Microsoft and Mixer, that were then taken and used on other shows that you loved, you as a collective, you'd be floored. You'd be absolutely floored. Because why would you not promote it on the Xbox ambassadors, though? Because A, no, that does never happen. A, you want to promote Xbox, right? So you want a Mixer Xbox combination. So the good idea there would be to go Xbox ambassadors. Be positive and understand that Mixer isn't an LFG. Mixer is a streaming platform. So education and building. Bringing over Mixer partners helps solidify that. Then you get all those collective people you just built to engage and activate behind seeing interviews and creating emotional attachment to the games that are coming out, so that when they come out, they don't flop in sales because people are raving fans about the game. And how do you do that? You get them to learn about the people behind the game, about what happens behind the game, about how they interact with the game. And that in turn creates a level of emotional connection, a level of heart involved in the company and product, and has been proven to increase sales. All of that was pitched. And I said, I don't want any money. I just want to do it. Because I knew that there was a bigger picture for me on the back end of that, right? There was obviously going to be a bigger side for me if I wasn't auto-denied for partner twice. But that's a whole other thing. A whole other thing. But ID at Xbox, I couldn't get in with them because they switched over who their program manager was, and that was hard to do. And everything else. There is no consistency in anything not Windows at Microsoft. And I do not like that. It makes me sad because there could be. and they have all these great things, and none of them talk to each other at all ever. Everything exists in a silo. And the silo culture, we talked about this last week. The silo culture is what killed Mixer from the inside. Why do you think I don't tolerate internal fragmentation in my surroundings? Because I see what it does to other companies, and I see the problems it creates. So I refuse to tolerate internal fragmentation. I'm of the opinion that any company can weather external forces. It may not be pretty. You might lose your flag. You might lose part of your castle. You might lose your front door. But you can weather anything external that comes into you as a collective, as long as your internal foundation and structure is sound. If you have a sound structure, you can pretty much handle anything coming your way. The minute you have a side eye or subterfuge or little clicks or rumblings or drama or childish behavior inside your company or structure, you are going to fail no matter what. And that happened at Mixer. We keep it out of these circles here for a very good reason. And it's been pretty much proven that that doesn't work. It's not something viable, so why do it? It killed Mixer. It killed it. Millie talking about it didn't kill it. Millie talking about it brought it to light. So this silo culture, it doesn't work, right, Pixie? Exactly. It happens at everybody's job. People don't realize it starts to happen. And then what do? By the time you notice it, it's gone. There's nothing you can do about it at all. There's nothing you can do. Millie and also all the stuff that happened that entire weekend as well, leading to the closing message dropping. Exactly. It just all came to surface. And people were like, well, that's why it closed. No. Him talking about it didn't close it. The women who suffered talking about it didn't close it. That just made you aware of it. Very different situation. But the silo culture killed it. And this is the problem you get. Think about what the intent was when you started and think about how you got to where you were. And if nobody has a clear idea of the vision, know your vision. Everybody on your team has to live your vision. It was a startup operating inside of a global conglomerate. You had to have a clear vision, and you had to have every single soul on that company 1,000% bought in. If you have one that wasn't and you couldn't find them, they will sink your company. Natalia Domingo did that. 100%. But there's also that problem on Xbox. So, and I say that with not, I say that to hope that somebody hears it at some point down the line and goes, holy crap, maybe we can change something. I don't believe it's Microsoft as a whole, and I'll tell you why. Satya Nadella does not tolerate it with his culture at his level. So the C-level and the program manager level that feed up to him, they don't participate in that crap at all. They all share the one Microsoft culture. The problem is when you get down the levels, and in Microsoft, there's a lot of levels. That is kind of the problem. You get into these, like, if you were to draw out the Microsoft organizational chart, it would fill this room. There's not enough room with the amount of employees and structure that is there that he's trying to slowly remove, but isn't, we got to make progress there. That org chart is a disaster. And it's not a bad thing. It's just the way a company is, but you have to fix it because it gets so big. You have all these managers and middle managers. And at some point, you get to the point where, and I believe that you should not air out your dirty laundry because you don't want to go up one level if you don't have to. But then you start changing the culture when you do that. And when you try to control the narrative and you're not transparent going up, it creates a lot of friction. Now, at the top, you have to understand that when there's a problem that comes up, you don't have to shoot everybody underneath you. Bad leaders do that. Pixie. Bad leaders do that. making eye contact with you intentionally for 2 reasons, and you know what they are. So bad leaders will like set fire to everybody underneath that, oh, there's a problem. You're at fault. You're at fault. You're at fault. No. Good leaders go, okay, there's a problem. What are we going to do about it? I'm not going to second guess you. Can you solve it? Yes? Okay, solve it. Do you need help? Not what happened. You told me there's a problem. Let's fix it. Go ahead and fix it. I hired you to fix it. If you need help, see your manager. If you need help, see their manager. But I'm not gonna second guess unless you ask me to. I'm not gonna change unless you tell me to change it. I'm gonna let you do it, and if it doesn't work or it creates more of a problem, then we'll go up one more level and fix it. And we'll just keep doing that. On the other side, you have bad leaders who second guess management, don't trust, or second guess middle management, don't trust the employee they hired, micromanage everything along the process, and then when there's a problem and it goes up the ladder, literally blames you for the problem. Like, it's not always the fault of the way it goes up. Companies that have the busted silo culture, which is a good thing, breaking up the silos, are supposed to have that level of transparency that helps fix these problems, that helps address these before they're problems. So everybody knows everything going on, but nobody judges people if there's a problem. It's a lot of ego checking at the door. Not many people can do that. It's a lot of swallowing pride. Not a lot of people can do that. You sit in a meeting and go, okay, well, where are we? And you have to have the gall to be able to go like, all right, boss, we're not in good shape right now. A lot of things happened, and here's where we're at. And own it and go, here's what we're doing to fix it. And the boss going, okay, cool. Not, well, now you're under probation. Like, no, that's not the right move. You actually have to look at the situation instead of going, okay, figure it out. Just figure it out. Just figure it out doesn't solve anything. Now, if the guy tells you to the boss and says, boss, here's our plan and here's what we're going to do, and then it doesn't work, okay, now we have to figure out, what did you do? Tell me the plan. Tell me what happened. Okay. What were the results? We didn't do well. Okay. So now, what if we tried this? What if we tried that? Good leaders instill creative thought, logical thinking, critical thinking into middle managers and employees to get them to try to find ways to make it happen within realistic things. No, they don't want to hear the issues because they don't actually want to fix the problem. They're conditioned to be happy with their position. And God forbid you infringe on their position because it's their own security. They're afraid. They don't even want to band-aid it. They just want to blame you and move on. Yep. You ignore the wound and say, just make it happen. But sir, the pandemic literally shut down the entire factory we used to sell to, and they're not buying from us anymore. Make it happen. The factory's closed. I can't make it happen. Oh, well, that's your fault. F you, it's not my fault. I don't understand. Like, what? So that's what happens in Microsoft. To a degree, at the lower levels. But at the high levels, I believe Satya does not accept that, does not tolerate it, is not okay with it, and has really tried to fix it. I think in the Windows device group, he's done a great job at it. I really, really, really do. Everywhere else, it shows that it has cracks. We saw it with Mixer firsthand. It exists elsewhere. But like Mixer team, Xbox team, they should be talking to each other. Xbox ambassador team, come in. Content team, come in. Social team, come in. And let's make sure we build this little nugget of this thing we have for free that we bought. We have this platform and we can spin up activation off of it. It just makes so much sense. And it didn't happen. And I cannot believe I just spent 28 minutes talking about Microsoft and silo culture